How's it going, everyone? Biscuits here. Dynamic. Definition. Of a process or system characterized by constant change, activity, or progress. Explore a vast, living, breathing world where every action you make has an impact on the dynamics of the environment. Watch as your actions affect all the NPCs and their feelings towards you. Go wherever you want and be whoever you want to be. Make allies of some and enemies of others. The world is in your hands. What will you do with it? Does any of this blurb sound familiar? If it does, then that's probably because almost every new open world game advertises itself using similar expressions to this. It's easy to say the words, but what do they actually mean? What are the different types of dynamics in open world games, and what does this have to do with Starfield? Game world dynamics are the moving parts of the world space that are noticeable to the player, affect the player directly, or change the game world in some way. These effects can be caused directly or indirectly by the player, or occur without the player's involvement. There are three types of game world dynamics. These are as follows. 1. Environmental dynamics. 2. Immediate effect dynamics. 3. Long-term world dynamics. Let's quickly examine each one, and then we will talk about Starfield, because we like talking about Starfield. Environmental dynamics. This type of dynamic involves how the physical world looks or reacts to the player's actions. This can be either visual or physical. Let's take a basic example and we'll use it to help explain each of the three types of dynamics. In Fallout 3 you can decide to blow up a settlement named Megaton. If the player chooses to blow up Megaton, a radiated crater will be left in the location where the town used to be. This is a material environmental dynamic. The world space has changed, creating a new area. There used to be a town to enter, but now it's an impassable mound of rubble. The new location actively gives the player radiation poisoning when near it. Physical. Now for the visual part of the environmental dynamic. The smoking crater looks different compared to what it used to look like. When Megaton went boom, the sky's appearance changed for a bit. Visual. In addition to this example, another would be a day or night cycle, visually changing the look of the game world. Immediate effect dynamics. Back to Megaton. The settlement is gone, meaning you have lost access to the NPCs which used to inhabit it, and their services. In this case, failing quests. Immediate effect. Another classic example of an immediate effect dynamic are when guards react to you committing a crime in their town. You did a thing, and the game world, specifically an NPC in this case, changed their routine or behavior as a direct result of your action. The game world did a dynamic. Long-term world dynamics. You blew up Megaton. The dude and his boss who asked you to do this deed think you are cool, but as a result, some people may think that you are a bad person. Thus, you gain or lose karma or reputation with the game world. This often doesn't immediately affect you, but later in the game NPCs may remember your action and either help you or hinder you based on their perception of your previous action. This is a long-term consequence or world dynamic. Another example might be different locations changing hands as opposing groups fight to take control over an area. Depending on your relationship with each group, this could result in the dynamic of a map location becoming friendly or hostile towards you. A question: which category would a battle that started as a random AI generated encounter fall into? Answer: all of them, for these reasons. A random event can happen in a wide range of areas, meaning that a certain location will be affected, causing an environmental dynamic. A random battle will offer a new threat to the player, causing an immediate effect dynamic. After the battle, the surviving NPCs will likely have left the scene, leaving behind loot to be discovered by the player at a later date, a long-term world dynamic. As this scenario demonstrates, certain dynamic game world features can contain elements of one, two, or even all three dynamic types. So, What about Starfield? What dynamics might we see, and how could they function in a setting such as Starfield's? Starfield is going to be an interesting case of a dynamic world, and much of it depends on the game's final design. To start off with, we don't know for sure whether or not we will be able to fly spacecraft directly, in real time, from one planet to another. We do know that there will be multiple planets with different settlements and cities to explore, but how we go about travelling between them will either give us a completely new dynamic world mechanic, or skip it completely. It's possible that Starfield may use a loading screen travel system, in which you enter your ship and press a button, and then after a quick cutscene you will arrive at the new planet, similar to what we saw in the Outer Worlds. The alternative is quite exciting. Starfield could allow a No Man's Sky approach to travel, one where you hop into your spaceship, leave the planet's atmosphere and travel out into space, in real time, with no cutscenes, just real live action flight. This design would allow for multiple dynamic layers. Please picture this scenario. You wake up in a dark hotel room in the water city of Neon. You head out onto the street. Bright neon lights flash in your eyes, causing you to crash into a stall selling vials of a special substance made from the remains of a unique fish. In your surprise, you fumble around, picking up the store wares and clearing the mess. Suddenly, the vendor sees you and accuses you of trying to steal his products. A guard hears the commotion and attempts to arrest you by order of the Jarl. You run, dodging pedestrians as you make your way to the city outskirts. Then you see it. Your ship, the Old Reliable. In your haste, you bump into a merchant who travelled to Neon from Aquila City. This was only possible because of the new trade alliance that you negotiated on their behalf. This is the first time you've seen them in this location, even though this is your 50th playthrough. You simply run off, ignoring them. You jump into your ship as you hear shouting from the guards closing in. Reaching the cockpit, you flick a switch and the ship engines whirl. Taking off, you plot a course for New Atlantis. You apply full throttle and the Old Reliable's thrusters kick into high gear, sending you through Neon's orbit out into the vastness of space. You fly at full speed towards your destination. In the distance you see a bright light. No, it's not a star, it's the glow from laser fire. There's a space battle taking place. You decide to investigate. Upon arrival, you notice a merchant cargo ship surrounded by 3 smaller Crimson Fleet pirate vessels who are firing at the merchants. You charge up your lasers and blow the pirates to smithereens. Over a video call, the merchants thank you and fly away, leaving you to loot the wrecks of the pirate ships. You put on your spacesuit and exit your ship through the airlock. You move through the wrecks, using your jetpack to carefully negotiate the remains. You collect some sweet gear and head back to your own ship. You eventually reach the edge of New Atlantis' orbit. You plot a course to the city's landing pad and travel down, breaking through the planet's atmosphere. You leave your ship and start walking towards the nearest bar. You look up and watch as an NPC-controlled patrol ship lands. Guards exit the vessel and walk towards the barracks. After you get your drink, you sit outside on the second floor balcony to sip your beverage. You observe dozens of NPCs going here and there. Many have finished work for the day and they are leaving for their homes. A few head towards the bar and order meals. You watch the sun as it starts to hide behind the tops of the tallest buildings, and as night takes over the planet, the city lights come to life. The scenario that I just described could be a possible gameplay loop for Starfield. You will have noticed that it covered many different types of game world dynamics. The exciting thing about Starfield is that it's possible that we may have at least 2 levels to the game world, the area on the planets themselves and the space in between worlds. If the world's space is connected seamlessly to the map areas on planets and NPCs can travel between the worlds as we do, it could create some incredible moments throughout the game. But a word of caution. It's best to expect less and be surprised with more than the other way around. It's good to be excited and hyped for the game, but just remember to keep expectations under control. I'm not expecting a seamless universe with manual flight, being able to fly the ships in space, or at least I'm expecting a compromise of some sort. Perhaps when we arrive at a planet's orbit, there is a cutscene and we watch our ship automatically land at a predetermined location. But I hope I'm wrong and we do get full manual flight. That would definitely add to the immersion. Something to consider is that many people who have worked on the game have described it to be very ambitious. There have been a few past games which already have full manual flight in them, so I don't think that it was this particular feature that got people talking. Maybe they were only referring to the scale of the game or something similar. Whatever the case may be, Starfield will likely have many new gameplay mechanics. Something that I hope to see is improved AI and NPC routines and interactions. In order for a game world to seem realistic, we need to believe that the people around us are real. This is something that Bethesda pride themselves on, especially since the Elder Scrolls Oblivion and its dynamic NPCs who have their own little lives and live in a world that changes and exists beyond the player's actions. A video game's dynamic world can go a long way in convincing the player that they exist in a thrilling, unpredictable environment and that their actions can have a direct impact on their surroundings. This can lead to countless hours of diversion and encourages the player to explore, experiment with different game mechanics, and have fun. It's during these dynamic moments that original stories are told by the player themselves, as they use the tools provided by the developers to experience their own unique adventures that they will remember forever, or at least for a very long time. How will Starfield allow us to tell our own stories? How dynamic will the in-game world space be? Will Bethesda's Starfield truly take its new features and mechanics to the next level? Only time will tell. Have you ever experienced a dynamic moment in a game that just stuck in your mind and you could never forget it? Please let us know what it was in the comments and how you felt about it. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
See you around.